Greetings, fellow RotoBallers. It is time for Week 2 starts and sits. We're going to start with a quarterback start of the week here. This is a guy who's going to be playing the Arizona Cardinals, a team that just got shredded for 5 tutties by Patrick Mahomes. I'm going with Derek Carr, the Las Vegas Raiders at home this week. Look, he looked a little rusty, but he still threw for 295, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And look, hey, Devontae Adams, he's still pretty good, right? I think Hunter Renfrow bounces back in this game. I like Derek Carr as a start in Week 2.
For me, the sit is going to be Trey Lance taking on Seattle. Look, Joe, rain aside, I saw a player that's still getting his bearings as a starter, and Vegas has this as the lowest scoring game. I'd have to agree. Lance should still have a nice rushing floor, but look, this is a week where I can think of 12 quarterbacks I'd rather start over Lance. Therefore, in a 12-team league, he's staying on my bench. Now on to tight ends. Our start of the weeks, aside from Kelsey last week, tight ends did what they always do, Joey, which is disappoint, okay? Unless you streamed Gerald Everett, like I recommended on TikTok. This week, I say you can go back to that well, and I try not to recommend players that are playing on Thursday night games, Joey, but when it's the Chiefs-Chargers, all bets are off. Keenan Allen possibly sidelined. Look for Herbert to find Everett over the middle early and often.
Now, Dave, our Week 2 tight end sit is hurting my heart because I like this guy a whole lot in the preseason, and you look at his box score, 5 receptions, 75 yards, 10 targets. You say, what's the deal, Joey? Well, Pat Freiermuth, he's going to be a sit against the Patriots this week. Look, 36 of those yards came in an overtime drive that you had to wait 4 hours for. And look, do you really trust Mitch Trubisky in the red zone? I don't.
No.
Tutties, probably not going to happen for Freiermuth. I'm sitting Freiermuth this week as a tight end sit. Moving on to wide receivers. My start of the week is a man who suddenly has sparks and chemistry with an old man, Matt Ryan, and I'm talking about Michael Pittman playing a Jacksonville defense this week that allowed 305 passing yards in week 1, 16 passing first downs, and also Michael Pittman, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 121 yards, and a tutty. Fire up Michael Pittman because that love is real, Dave. It's real.
Stud. Okay, for my sit at wide receiver, I'm going to go with the Jets, as in all of them. Okay,
come on in. You're all sitting.
Jacoby Brissett versus Joe Flacco. Halloween's come early, people. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this also sets up to be one of the lowest scoring slop fests. And although I love Elijah Moore's talent, and he did catch a tutty, which is called back due to penalty, I just can't find a way, Joe, to squeeze him into my top 30 wide receivers this week due to QB play and a matchup. And instead, I'm just going to, enjoy my Sunday not having to watch the Jets.
Smart.
Now, at running back, Joey, it's time. Saquon Barkley, he back, baby. I know it was just week 1, but Barkley was your RB1, folks, for the week. And if you drafted him in the second round, you have to be feeling good right now. Now, if they get up versus Carolina, you have to love that last week he had 18 carries. If they go down, you have to love that he had 6 receptions. He's bulletproof, and he's my start of the week at running back.
Saquon, and my running back sit of the week is Zeke Elliott versus Cincinnati. Now, look, Zeke actually looked good running the ball, but hold on, let me pull out my PowerPoint here. Their O-line is bad. Next slide. Dak Prescott is out. Next slide. And the Bengals are pissed. Next slide. Zeke only ran for a long of 7 yards in week 1. I don't like him. He is a huge sit heading into week 2. Now it is time for a 60-second RotoBaller recap. Are you ready? Here it is. This is our week 2 starts and sits. At quarterback, Derek Carr playing a Cardinals defense that got shredded for 5 tutties. Carr is going to be out for blood. Other starts at tight end, Gerald Everett. He looked great with that connection with Justin Herbert early and often. Scored a tutty in week 1. We like him for week 2. Michael Pittman, 9 receptions, 121, and a tutty last week. Keep that rolling and fire him up in your lineup. And Saquon Barkley, he's back, baby. RB1 in week 1. He is ranked as our RB2 in week 2.
Love it, Joe. And you are leaving the following players on your bench, if possible. Trey Lance in the lowest scoring game currently on the books in Vegas. Pat Freiermuth in New England because Trubisky. Yeah. Speaking of poor quarterback play, do you really want to start anybody catching passes from Joe Flacco, who's got Myles Garrett in his face?
Don't make me.
Nope. So sit the Jets wideouts. And finally, we here at Roto don't think Cooper Rush is the answer, believe it or not. So Zeke taking on a lot of stack boxes is going to be our final sit of the week.
That'll do it for Start Sits Week 2. RotoBaller, comment, question below, and we'll see you next week.